Okay, guys, welcome back. Back from the little vacation. So, in looking at the solenoid motor, I have the new ring, which is definitely good. I'm going to keep that. In looking at these coils and the ones that I just wound, or at least just one of them so far. So, this has 7 layers of 23 gauge wire on it. 7 layers. And I thought, now that's probably going to be enough, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to build this ring. I'm going to use these guys because there was nothing wrong with them. I'm going to make sure that when I put them on the ring that I'm doing it the same, that they're oriented in the same direction, meaning the wind, the start and the finish are going in the same direction, a clockwise direction. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with this. I can't wind it the way I want to wind it. I have my jig all set up. I still haven't set up the coil winding machine. That's a whole other thing, but I'm going to go ahead because I have the magnets. I ordered some neoprene that should be in today. It's 1 millimeter thick, and I'm going to put a thin strip of it on the roller. I was going to put it on the internal face of the ring, but I think I'm going to leave the ring alone and just put it on the rollers. And I'm only going to put enough on there just to make contact with the wheel for 2 reasons. One, so it'll grip better, but two, so it'll be quieter. So I have the 3/4 by 3/4 inch barrel N52 magnets that I want to use. So I'm going to get this puppy built today. I'm going to use the existing coils. They're still in good shape. I'll put the 2 light coils on opposite sides, and this is more of a pickup coil, which I might not even put on there. But we'll see. But I'm going to get it built today. I'm not going to go with the new coils. I think it's just a waste of wire. I've got plenty of wire or plenty of ohms on these guys here. Not ohms, but you know what I mean. These coils are good enough. Yeah, and also too the ring guides that I printed out for the inside of these coils aren't as beefy as these. I don't know what happened. I mean, they would still work, but I've already got these coils, so I'm going to go with those. All right, stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So fitting these N52s in here is really scary. So basically I have a magnet, 2 spacers, a magnet, then this end here will equal 2 spacers, then there'll be another magnet, 2 spacers, a magnet. And so I was worried about the screw. The last time I built this, I really countersunk the hole in there kind of too much, but I realized that the bearing or the roller isn't even going to touch this, so I'm not going to worry too much about the screw. Yeah, I may file it down smoother just so it won't interfere with the wall of the coil housing, but I don't think it will. So yeah, all the magnets going like this are all going to be north facing this way, south, north facing clockwise, south facing counterclockwise. Not that it'll make a difference in the placement on the system itself, but they all have to be facing the same direction in the tube or it'll be messed up. Thought about doing some other stuff, you know, arranging it differently, like maybe almost in a hallback configuration, but I really can't with barrel magnets. So I'm going to stick with what I know works and stay tuned. Okay, so I wasn't happy with this sticking up, even though I don't think it'll do anything. Then I found these little brass guys, or actually I think these are bronze, and they don't stick up at all. I really like them. So I need to go to the store because I need to find some just like this, but a little bit shorter. But yeah, with just a little bit of countersink from one of these guys, it looks good. It works really well. And I have just about enough, but these are kind of too long. They'll run into each other and in the opposite direction, and I don't like that. Okay, stay tuned. Oh, and really quick. So, per my friend Jorge, you guys know him as Sky Collection, told me I need to get back to doing maglev, and he's absolutely right. I actually have 2 new ring magnets that are much bigger than those, and I'm going to create a huge maglev. Not huge in the sense like that guy, they're huge, but long bar magnets, 4 of them in a 3D printed housing. Basically the same setup as this guy. But yeah, I want to get back to it because I have the really nice coils, and yeah, so stay tuned for some of that. All right, so I just got back from the store and I found more of these, and they're actually not brass. They say they're brass, they're just brass colored, but I couldn't find any that were shorter. So I got these instead, even though I don't like the color of those. I like this color. But I think in this case, I'm going to go with function over form. Although these they have the same size head. Yeah, they have the same size head as these guys. If I put it on top there, you can see it's the same size head, but they're much shorter and they're a little fatter too. So I think they'll grip better, even though I really like these brass colored ones. So I think I'm going to go with these guys. I hope I got enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I got enough. And if I don't, I'll just use a brass one. I might even keep this brass one in there just for the hell of it. I did notice though that in 1 or 2 spots, this is not mating very well. It's okay. I can sand it out and put a little filler in there, which I thought about doing anyway. But yeah, let me get going and get this thing together. What I have to do now is I have to slide on the coils and then finish putting the ring together. Yeah, stay tuned. So really quick, I'm not sure if you guys remember when I was testing this the last time I had it together, doing 2 coils in parallel. In other words, connecting them in parallel at the power, ran this thing really good. Then when I tried to do 3 coils with 3 circuits in parallel, it didn't do anything. And I don't know if maybe I had one of the coils backwards, or if it's because of how the magnets are in there. I'm not really sure. I'm going to put the 3rd one on there. This is the one that goes on the top of this one goes on the top. So if you were to sit this up like this coil would go up here on the top, and then these other 2 coils would go on the side. At the very least, I can use it for a pickup coil to charge up my capacitor bank. I've got two of them. I've got one over there. You guys can see it in the orange. And then I've got a homemade one right there. But yeah, I'm getting ready to close it up with the last two magnets in this sleeve here. And I made sure that there's no space so the magnets aren't going to slop around in there. I've used plastic spacers, these guys right here, that actually came with the magnets. They're the perfect size. And these were the ones that I had in there before. I had 2 or 3 of these. I think I had 3 each or 2 each. Anyway, let me get ready to close it up and start putting it back together again. It's going to be tricky getting together if I remember. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so I've come to a little standstill. I need to print out a bunch of these spacers. I need to print out 2, 4, I need to print out 5 of them. Well, actually just a few more. Because I somehow, oh, here we go. Here's another one. Maybe not. Maybe not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. Ah, dag nabbit. I was going to use these, which I got again from the magnets, and they do work, but they're not tall enough. They're a little bit shorter than these guys, and they need to be tall because the spacers, one sits underneath and one sits on top, and that separates the body, which then allows us to roll freely. So, since I'm going to be at the printer anyway, I might as well print out 6 new ones. And this time what I'll do is I'll put this guy together without them, and I'll take some measurements so I get it right. Stay tuned. So I'm glad I did that because it turns out these are just a little bit too tall. And I wish I had the ability to print out neoprene or TPU, which is a real rubbery type substance. I can. I've never done it. I don't have any. It is kind of difficult to do when you have a Bowden setup, but not impossible. But I'm a PLA guy, so I'll just take some measurements of this and I'll make it about 2 millimeters, maybe 1.5 millimeters smaller, and go from there. Stay tuned. All right. I've got the spacers. Oops, get down in there. Put the spacers on. There's one underneath there now. Oh, I got to fix that one. But it flows really good. But there's not a lot of room in there. Actually, it's going really, really well. So I got the silicone. It's supposed to be 1 millimeter thick, right? So it came in this plastic wrap. And then it has a sticky back here. And if I pull this off, that is thicker than 1 millimeter. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I'll have to take a good look. Actually, it may work. It may work. I had a scare at first. When I put this in, it wouldn't fit in there, and this was jammed, and I was like, oh shit, did I forget that I have to make the ring smaller? Because I've made many iterations of this ring, but the one that I printed out came out good. And it's actually spinning surprisingly well. Anyway, let me cut some of this plastic up, because what I'm going to do is, let me take this off. What I was thinking about doing was cutting a strip that would fit in there, but not all the way across, just maybe about, let me see, maybe about twice as wide as this, maybe a little less, just enough to sit in the valley, just enough for for the ring to ride on it, but I don't know if that's going to work. I'll have to give it a try. Stay tuned. Okay, so I was thinking something like that, just enough for it to curve a little bit. And I, of course, would make it go all the way around. This is just a test piece. I'm thinking maybe a little bit thinner, or if I stretch it a little bit. Yeah, if I stretch it, because it is silicone, so it will stretch. And the sticky back works great. I'll probably, and I was actually thinking about using hot glue and putting a bead around it, and then when it was hot, bring it over here and go like this to kind of mash it in there. And I may still do that. I could get one of the old rings. Where is it? Right here. And these rings are this, oops, sorry, these rings are the same size. I could get hot glue, and go like that. Put some more down, go like that. But I think this will work good. So this is 10 millimeters wide. So I'm thinking 8. 10 might be just a little bit too big. Yeah, let me try that and get back to you guys. Hold tight. I think I cut off, and I don't know where I cut off. I don't know if I cut off when I was measuring this guy. This is actually 1 millimeter thick. This guy is too thick. This is like 2 or 3 millimeters. It would be nice, but what I need to do now is measure this and cut a piece and check it out. Stay tuned. Oh, and just as a side note, what made me think about putting the silicone is I originally was going to use this felt, which I still may think about using. Felt is really slippery. So even if it didn't roll on the roller, it would still slide. But yeah, I was going to cut a piece like about 10 millimeters wide, maybe 8, and run it around there. And when I was thinking about it, I thought, but it's still a contender. So that's what made me think about using the silicone. Stay tuned. Okay, so I've got a piece on there, and you guys can see, I don't know if you can see that really good. It doesn't, I don't know if this is going to hurt it more than help it, because there's a lot of rocking. And actually it would be like this. Oh, you know what? Duh. No, even that. Oh, actually that might, oops, sorry. That might not be too bad. Now that I'm thinking about that hot glue situation, I might try that. I'm definitely going to try this because I've got it. And I bought a new toy. Cordless hot glue gun that takes Makita batteries. This thing is fantastic. It heats up the glue in like 10 seconds. So if you guys are ever thinking about getting a cordless hot glue gun, because I've got a couple of expensive ones. I've got a DeWalt knockoff, kind of. I don't know if it's a DeWalt or not. It's got the same colors, and it has 100-watt setting, and it takes forever. This thing, I turn this on, and I pull the trigger, and I wait about 10 seconds, and hot glue comes pouring out of here. So yeah, so I may try doing that. And actually, I would go like this with it. I wouldn't go like this. I don't know why I said that. It's going to be riding on, even though it's the same thing. I'm going to try this, though. It's not as grippy as I thought it would be. And I'm going back and forth about the felt idea. I cut out a strip just to use as a measuring device. And the felt, even though it's thicker, will collapse more. Yeah, I may... Let me try this first, because it may not even work. I may not even have the clearance, but let me try this guy first. What I'm going to do, just to keep this on there, even though the sticky is good, I am going to put a dab of hot glue there to hold it together and then go like this just to mash it. I don't know if I should make it wider, if that's wide enough. What do you guys think? Think I should use this or the felt? Let me know. Anyway, stay tuned. So I come up with ideas in the weirdest times and situations. So I was sitting here recording the video just a second ago, and my back teeth were floating. I had to go so bad. For those of you who don't know, that means I had to piss. Sorry for the information. But I was sitting there, or I was standing there, and I thought, wait a minute, what if I took a piece of this and cut it really thin, like maybe a quarter of this width, and put one on like right. So if I take this off and I cut this down and I put one right there and one right there, then it would kind of cradle it, right? Let me see. So if I do this, this is not a bad idea. Put one there, and put one there. But then getting that around there would be a super pain in the ass. I would have to lay the sheet out and cut a circle and then cut a really thin part of the circle out and lay it. Yeah, that's too much work. And now that I did this, the tape's not going to stick. So I definitely need to, actually, I think I'm going to go with a bigger piece. I think 8 millimeters is just not wide enough. I'm going to go with 10 millimeters, which would be about from here to here. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to try the felt. If that doesn't work, then I'm just going to go back to plastic on plastic. All right, stay tuned. So I decided to go with the 10 millimeter. I think that's going to work. Yeah, I like that better. It grabs more of the tube. And it's really not going to make too... Actually, I might even go even wider. Because whether it's 5 millimeters wide or 10 millimeters wide, or even as wide as this, it's still going to be the same height off of the roller. And I'm going to put a little thing of glue there. Oh, one of the things I forgot to tell you about this, it does eat your battery up really quick. And it's not as fast as I thought it was. I mean, it is really fast, but anyway, stay tuned. So the idea about putting glue on there, then taking this and going like this would not work. As you can see, I would have to find something or time it like I did this one, where the glue is not super hot, but it's also not completely congealed, and then go quickly on it like that. That one worked. But trying to do a whole thing like that, I'd have to find something that it doesn't stick to. And I don't really know what hot glue doesn't stick to. Maybe if I put the glue on there, then put some cellophane on this and went like, I don't think so though. Anyway, stay tuned. All right, so I have the silicone on there. So far, so good. Still makes a lot of noise. I don't know where that's coming from. And obviously, it's not captured in here yet. Oh, that's what it is. Once I put the top part on and this spreads out, oh yeah, there's a huge difference in the sound. All right, so once I put that part on, put these spacers on, And now get this top part on. Let me brush this guy off. Am I still recording? I'm still recording. So now, how does this go? Goes like this. No, goes like this. So once I get this guy on, come on. So this is a really tricky part, and I'm trying to do it and record at the same time, which is not my style. Oops. Yeah, I don't know. So let me, oh, that's really tight. Yeah. That's really tight. Let me, yeah, that's too tight. And I don't even need to push it all the way down. I can just tell it's too tight because everything's lined up and this thing isn't moving. So try the felt. Stay tuned. Man, I was really hoping that that silicone would work. So I'm not even sure the felt is going to work because the tolerances here are really tight. I didn't think they were that tight, but they are. So even though the felt will collapse a little bit better, I don't know that it's going to work unless I put a really, now again, I don't think it's just, well, the size difference with the felt would make a difference. And maybe that was the problem with the silicone. Maybe it was too wide. That felt is pretty high up though. That's more, it does collapse, but that's more than a millimeter. And let me see. Yeah, if I collapse that down, actually that's probably about the same, probably about a millimeter. I still really like the idea of the glue in there, the hot glue, except I don't know how to get it in there to be really thin and consistent. I do have liquid rubber that I could paint on, but with my experience with that, it's a mess and it doesn't always, it's not going to go on really even, and it has to be even. My AC just kicked on. It's hot here in Deadwood City. Let me think. Let me try. Well, first of all, let me try putting this together without anything, just to make sure that the ring is going to be okay, that it's going to spin freely. So stay tuned. Okay, so good news is it does spin really. In fact, it spins much better than it used to. Now, it's not all buttoned down, but as long as these are vertical and at a 90-degree angle, this tells me whether it's good or not. So now the question is, do I just put it together like this, or do I try to put some felt on there? I don't really feel any play with the rollers, so I don't know that it's going to work. I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to put a little tiny strip right down the middle and try it. All right? Or should I just put it together like this? No, I'm going to try the felt because that was my first idea. And if anything has taught me that when I have ideas, it's the first one, the one that I abandon right away for something better, that always works. Stay tuned. So yeah, this was the first idea, putting the felt on there. I don't know why I can't get this thing to stay in the center. I mean, I've got two eyeballs. I don't know why they don't work. There we go. And this does collapse a lot better than the other stuff. So let me give this a try. So the felt does work, but it's nowhere near as smooth as without it. It's quieter, but it's not I want it to run really smooth. I'm wondering if I could hammer out the felt, get it really flat. I think I'm just overthinking it. I think I should just go with what worked. Although it is getting a little bit easier. And that would be a little bit quieter. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know what that scraping sound is. Obviously, it's not buttoned up completely. I think the felt will work, but I don't want to get this thing all buttoned up and have it jam on me, because I still have quite a ways to go in getting it buttoned up. I have to make sure that these are sitting in their grooves, which is a real pain in the keister. Yeah, see? Now it's running on the felt alone. I don't know. I'm thinking, why is it making that sound? Oh, because I don't have that in there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with what works. All right, stay tuned. All right, so it's tightened down and it's working really good. So now I got to put the rest of the things in there and try it out. I don't expect it's going to be much different, simply because I put stronger magnets in there. I had, I think, N42s. Now I've got N52s, and they are considerably stronger. But this ring is much better than this ring. So I'm thinking maybe because there's no wobble or anything in there. Yeah, that ring is much better. So, don't know if I'm going to get it running today, because I'm running kind of late for an appointment. So hopefully I'll have this puppy up and running soon. Basically, I just wanted to get it back together because I put a lot of work into this, and so did Spaceman Australia. He did all the design work, but I put a lot of work in this. I didn't want it to just sit over there and get dusty. I wanted to put it back together, get it running with the better magnets in it, and go from there. All right, guys, later.